Listen, I know how you're going to react. You're going to pull your hair out. You're going to scream at the radio. You may punch it and you go, this guy's the worst. What another homer call. But I'm serious about something here, and I want you to hear me out. Why wouldn't the Dallas Cowboys trade for Le'Veon Bell? Now listen, Adam Schefter is suggesting Le'Veon Bell is on the trade market. The Pittsburgh Steelers are taking calls for Le'Veon Bell. The teams that we've talked about that make sense are teams like the Green Bay Packers, the San Francisco 49ers, maybe the Houston Texans, the New York Jets. Wouldn't that improve the weapons around Sam Darnold? Wouldn't that help his situational success? And what would it cost? Well, Schefter's saying at least when you only get 3/4 of the season out of him, maybe not that much.
I will just say this, that maybe it's a 4 and a 7. Maybe it's just a 4. Maybe it's just a 3. Plus, we're 3 games into the season already.
Right.
So maybe it's a discount rate. He's a great player. I honestly would say that in my own mind, without speaking to anybody about this, I would say a 3rd-round pick for Le'Veon Bell would be the price. A 3rd in 2019, and that gets the deal done. Maybe it's a player also.
Now, why wouldn't the Dallas Cowboys spend a 4th or maybe a 3rd-round pick to put 2 all-world, top 5 offensive talents in their own backfield? A team that no one says has a weapon outside of Ezekiel Elliott. Everyone says is bereft of playmakers, except for Ezekiel Elliott. Why would it be a bad idea to add Le'Veon Bell? Now listen, the entire league has moved to a passing league. We've seen an absolute offensive innovation in quarterback play, and there's a fascinating article up on the Big Lead right now, and it shows that the top quarterbacks in the history of college football, if you go back and look at passer rating, passer efficiency rating, going back years, 10 of the top 20 years by quarterbacks are this year. Guys like Tua, Will Grier, Dwayne Haskins, guys like Kyler Murray, Jake Fromm. In fact, some of the only guys in this top 20 list who aren't playing this year in college football are guys that were lighting it up last year in college football, like Baker Mayfield in 2017 or Baker Mayfield again in 2016. Quarterback play is going through the roof. We're talking about plus 70% completion percentage, quarterbacks throwing short, efficient passes to move the ball. And that's filtered up, obviously, into the pros. Kevin Clark has an article up on The Ringer talking about it took some time. It took withstanding some mockery, but the NFL finally moved the way of the Big 12. The NFL finally embraced the spread. Doug Peterson with the Eagles, Andy Reid with the Chiefs, and more college coaches are looking up and seeing their plays in the NFL. More than that, high school coaches in Texas mostly, where this stuff is being innovated at the high school level in Texas, are looking up and seeing plays that they developed at Lake Travis High School, and just a few years later, seeing the Eagles run those in the Super Bowl. That's Philly special, by the way. Philly special. You could have found on the football fields of high school football in Texas just a few years ago. And I understand the game is moving to a complete passing-oriented offense. But I can't help but wonder, and maybe I'm being honest with you, maybe it's my contrarian nature. Because all throughout my career, I've looked for ignored niches. I've looked for, if the crowd moves in one direction, what opportunities exist in the other. And it makes me wonder if the entire league is moving to 40 passing attempts per game, short yardage passing, and defense designed to stop that. Won't there be a zig to that zag? Won't there be opportunities ignored in the other direction? Won't there be opportunities to move in the direction of running the ball down a defense's throat? And what better way to do it than a versatile weapon like Le'Veon Bell? Now, let's say you're a team like the Dallas Cowboys, and this doesn't have to be a Cowboys conversation. Let's say you're a team like the New York Giants, or any team who's invested in their running back position, in their running game. What if you just leaned into that? What if you didn't have, in the Cowboys' case, other offensive weapons? What would a guy like Bell mean to your passing game, much less your running game? I understand there's only so many carries to go around. But what about Le'Veon Bell catching 80 passes a game? I mean, hell, is that not better than a receiver you could pick up in the offseason, or a receiver that you could draft? Why is it so nuts to say putting 2 running backs in your backfield isn't a creative, a zag to the rest of the league's zig, in innovating your offense? For that matter, add it to a running quarterback. And again, if you think I'm being a homer, Or you think I'm being a natural contrarian? What about Le'Veon Bell with the Texans? What with Deshaun Watson, Le'Veon Bell, and Lamar Miller? Could you not do some creative things out of your backfield? I know this sounds crazy, but everything old is new again. How many times can you reinvent the wheel? I'm serious. How long till we see the option back in pro football? Triple option featuring Dak Prescott, Le'Veon Bell, and Ezekiel Elliott. The triple option featuring Deshaun Watson, Lamar Miller, and Le'Veon Bell. There are already running versions of the option at the goal line. You can look up plays that the Chiefs run, that teams like Memphis in college football have run, or others, where you'll look at a running back, sweep one way, pitch it to the tight end. The tight end then options it back out to the quarterback, and you're wide open, running into the end zone. I just think, maybe crowds don't have to be wrong, but crowds can ignore opportunity. And if you're willing to be a little bit of a contrarian, and maybe, if you have to put it in the Cowboys' case, a little bit of a homer, you can see opportunity. Or maybe this is all just insane.